Congratulations, Catherine and Mal. You set very high standards for Whittemore. It's my great pleasure to stand here and read or prepare the remarks. Fred's receiving of the Social Responsibility Award for his many, many activities and tireless efforts for more than 30 years, efforts aimed at making our community a better place. Fred is not from Westerly. Fred came here and made this his second home many years ago, first in Weekapaug and now in Watch Hill. I think all in our shoreline communities know Fred. He's a generous donor to organizations so important to our community, the hospital, the library, and of course our YMCA. Fred is widely known and respected not only for his own personal contributions, but for his ability to motivate and organize others to get good works done. In 1989, Fred was the driving force in establishing the Weekapaug Conservancy and served as its chairman for many, many years. In 1999, he did it all again and was the prime mover, establishing the Watch Hill Conservancy, becoming its first president, a position he held until, I think, just weeks ago. Here in Watch Hill, Fred led in the establishment of the Watch Hill Limited Partnership, which has worked to save historic buildings in the Watch Hill Village, most notably the Holdridge Garage at the north end of Bay Street. Fred met with Commander Roberts to establish the Roberts Foundation and thus assure millions of dollars would flow into our community and into projects in our community. And he served back-to-back terms as Watch Hill Fire District Moderator. Fred's generosity and his time and treasure have not been limited to Westerly. In 2003, he was awarded the Hubbard Family Award for Service to Philanthropy by the University of New Hampshire. But Fred is being recognized today for the special effort he put into helping Maureen, Paul Lynch, and me organize our capital campaign to reconfigure, upgrade, and expand our High Street facility. We had a tired and very limited facility, and we had a strategic plan to greatly expand our ability to extend and strengthen our mission here in this community. We only lacked money. We sat down with Fred in the summer of 2008, seeking his help in guiding our fundraising efforts in the shoreline communities. Who knew them better than Fred? Somewhere I still have the voluminous handwritten notes Fred prepared for us. Neither he nor we could know that in a few weeks our global financial world would tumble into freefall. That cost us time, and our lead donations just dried up. It was scary, but with Fred's continuing guidance, we were successful, and the results showed. The overwhelming success of our upgraded, expanded, and reconfigured High Street facility bears witness to the value of our campaign and Fred's support. Fred has had some very serious health issues this past year, and he can't be with us this morning to accept this recognition that he so richly deserves. Before we ask his son Ted to step up and accept on behalf of his father, I'd like to give Grant Simmons, who's Vice President of the Watch Hill Conservancy, a chance to say a few words about their president.
Excuse me. Good morning, all. A few words about Fred. I had the great pleasure of working with Fred as when he was moderator of the Watch Hill Fire District and I was the Parks Commissioner. And he left a kind of a fingerprint of his vision moving forward. And he did that through, again, the creation of the Watch Hill Conservancy, which eventually was able to remove the overhead utility lines on Bay Street. And these are just a few of his great visions that he had. Now, that took almost 10 years to do, but he got it done. And so this honor is a kind of a testimonial to his strengths, to his great visions, and his ability to get things done. So he deserves this greatly. Thank you.
Fred and Marion have 2 sons, both of whom, like their father, have homes here in our community. Ted, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. We wish your parents... We wish your parents could be with us, and we send you home with warm wishes from the Y and from the community for which your father has done so much.
Good morning, everybody. If we're running late, I'm going to be 6 or 8 sentences because they said everything I could have said about my father. But as he mentioned, my dad is recovering. He would love to be here for a morning in December. We're hoping to have him rehabbed and get him home by Christmas at the beginning of January. Mal said, better than I could say, I learned when I was young to give back whatever I had. It didn't matter if it was a lot or a little. My dad made a point of always telling us that. If it was in the context of growing up in New Hampshire, in a little town called Pembroke, or going to the big city, and a little stop in the Navy, and going to Wall Street, he always taught us, and I didn't really get it until I was a little bit older, about how important it is to give back to organizations. Now, they both mentioned what my dad was really good at. Some treasure, but also sort of managing everybody else to get together. And I think it came from his sort of Wall Street running the syndicate desk, let's put it together, because failure didn't really compute with him. Getting it done, whether it was the wires, or supporting the Y, the library, or either of the conservation organizations that were just mentioned, were important to him. He wasn't, I don't want to tell you he was on every board and every committee. He wasn't that kind of guy with the Y. He was more of a, silent is not the right word either, but more, if you've ever met my dad, you know that. Patron to try and be in the background, to not hog the attention, to make sure that things happen, and more importantly, that the senior staff and the board of organizations like the Y had the resources they needed and will need to do all the good work that they do. I went to the Y a few times when I was a kid, growing up here, and I've lived in Weekapaug every year since 1968, when my folks bought a house on Knowles Avenue, and they moved to Watchill, as was mentioned, in 1990 or so. But I haven't been there in many years, so I took a couple extra minutes this morning in the fog to drive by, and I was sharing with Maureen and others at my table. It looks really amazing, and next time I'm back, I'm going to come inside. There were 60 or 70 cars there at 7 this morning. I can only imagine from what I've heard and from what I've seen that there's a lot of great programs, whether they're athletic or about wellness or about kids and their development and mentoring that are going on there. And they need to keep going on. And these kind of breakfasts, not so much honoring folks for the sake of honoring them, but recognizing that the support of the organization is really important. We just got to keep playing forward. So again, I'd like to thank Maureen and the whole senior staff and the board. I haven't met many of them. I've met a few. But keep up the good work, a little bit of a cliche for next year. And again, thanks on behalf of my dad and my mom, Marion, and my older brother, Lawrence. And also, everybody should have a great set of holidays.
Ted, congratulations, and please convey to Fred our best wishes and congratulations as well. Why did you do the microphone, Ted? Hello? Test? No, we're not going to use the microphone. Fred Whittemore, I've had the pleasure of knowing Fred for many years. I considered him a friend. He has been a driving force in our community for the many projects and capital campaigns held. I can honestly say, when an ask was made, sometimes the response, in a grumpy, non-silent fashion, he never said no. And because of his generosity, our place is a better place to live and work and play. And please convey that to Fred and our best wishes.